Okay guys, so now you just watched me cut that open, and I'm taking a brand new thing of Loctite super glue. You can use this in combination with wood glue, or you can just use it by itself. However, if you add wood glue to it, it'll hold it with the long hold versus the short hold. Now, these here I'm going to show you real quick so you don't get confused. There are two that are solid, that's in the actual file, and one that has a hole. Now, with this one, I decided to go ahead and cut the one that has the hole in it because I think I want to have an opening inside of my dollhouse or my she shed so I can actually see it. Now, I will show you this. This is the floor, so you have to pay attention. The floor is wider. It's the same in the width, but it's wider. Okay? So the very first thing that we need to do is we need to look at our sides, and as you can see, they're the same in width. So the sides have to go on, right? So in order to do that, we need to go ahead and put a line of glue straight down here. Now, I'm just doing a very thin line, like as you can see, I'm using the dots, and then I'm just kind of smearing it in. Alright, once that's done, then I'm going to go ahead and glue it evenly in place. Now, there is a square that you can make sure that you have it at the edge just by pushing it like that. If you have the helper tools, you can use the helper tools too. Now, it's not going to stay perfectly square until you get the front and back one, but it will at least dry evenly. Okay, now that you have one edge on, you're going to go ahead and take the back or the front, it doesn't matter which, and you're going to line it up along this edge with that touching like that, and then you're going to glue it along that edge. So what I'm going to do for this is I'm going to go ahead and run a bead of glue here and here. Try to stay within 1/8 inch of the edge. Now this is cut from 1/8 inch wood. My hands are not very steady, so that is what it is. Make sure the bottom edge is even, and make sure that top edge is even. If you don't have the ability to hold that all in all the places at one time, just go ahead and put some masking tape on there. It'll hold it in place for you until it dries. Now you have an 1/8 inch hanging over here. What that's going to be is going to be for the side. And then when you put that in there, it should line up evenly with this side. So we're going to repeat that process again by putting some right on the edge. Now I will tell you, if you intend on painting your greenhouse or your she shed, you probably should do it before you put the front wall in. That way you have a little bit more space. Just make sure you leave that 1/8 inch around there so that you're not putting paint where the glue needs to be. Oh, I just did that backwards. Hang on. Alright, so I totally put that on the side, not thinking it's supposed to go here. So I just took a baby wipe and wiped it off. That way it wasn't in the way. Alright, Now I'm gonna put this where it needs to go. I'm gonna slide it in place. Make sure the front and back and bottom and everything is all even. That's what it should look like right about now. At this point, if you want to go ahead and paint those 3 walls or whatever you're going to do, go ahead and do it. That way you don't have to worry about reaching up in those spots once the front wall is on or the roof. Okay, so now for the front, we're going to go here, here, and here, and we're going to glue those in place. But before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and get some tape ready. Now for those of you who are wondering, I'm using the Thunder laser, and I have the 51 130 watt laser. So it's a pretty much a large laser, but the boards for this one is set to where if you have the Glow Forge, it would fit on that too, because I also have a Glow Forge. I just am not happy with that, so I don't recommend anyone buying the Glow Forge. If you followed my other videos, you would know that I had some issues with the one that I purchased and the ones that they kept sending me to replace the one that I purchased. So you can get a Thunder laser that is comparable with just a little bit bigger of a bed for around the same price as you can the the Glow Forges. Now I will say this one is like a beast. There's several models, so if you want to get a Thunder laser, I suggest you look into it, and I'll try to remember to put a link below. If not, just tag me in a comment and then I'll put the link there if I forget. Okay, so at this point you can see we have all the sides done. If you want to go ahead and put a bead of glue down the edges, you can with some wood glue. That's fine. I don't plan on really doing anything with this. I just did it for the tutorial purposes. Now, I will show you, if you want to put window frame, just use recycled plastic. Window glass, recycled plastic. Or you can just put the frame over top of it like this. Now, I'm not going to install my frames just yet because I do plan on painting this, and I don't want it to get in the way when I do. It's a lot easier to paint over that without having frames to go into it. But that's what the front would kind of resemble with the frames. Now the next thing is you have the hinges. So in the hinges there is going to be some little blocks that look like this. And what you're going to do is you're going to glue that on the back of here. Now if you're going to put a frame, a door frame around the edges, you don't need these. You can just use your door frame as the backing. But this basically just gives the hinges a little bit more to hold on to, because the hinges are so thin because it's 1/8 inch wood. So you're just going to stick that in there and you're going to hold it in that little area until it dries. And you want to make sure you have it below each of those and above each of those. Now I will say that I do enjoy Loctite super glue. If you've watched my videos, I've shown you some hacks on how to get more out of your glue bottle if you're using the other type of bottle. But that's how that will go, and then you can see it's there. Now again, if you're going to put a frame on the inside, then you don't need to do that. Now here you'll have the hinge, and you should have 2 that look like L's. Those are going to get glued here and here. So what I'll do is I'll put a little bit of glue on here, and I'm also going to put it on all of the sides of this. That way it fits right in there. Then I'm going to put that right on there like that, and then I'm going to hold it in place. Now the other thing I'm going to tell you to do is there is another piece of this little thin wood. You're going to put that on top of that. And if you don't want to have black hands because of the char marks from the laser, just take a baby wipe and wipe it off. I did not do that before I started, but you can do that. It will wipe right off. And I would recommend you doing that before you paint it. Just don't do it with a very wet one, otherwise your wood will get disformed. So since that's in there, I'm just going to do it this way and make it a little bit easier. And then there you have your hinges. Now, for the rest of it, you're going to take a dab of glue, and you're going to take it where the circle is facing up and down. See how it's got the circle? That's got to be facing up and down because you're going to slide a pin through it. If you don't do it that way, you won't be able to put the door on its hinge. The next step is to go ahead and install the handle. And then what you'll do once everything is dry, you'll put your door in here. I'm not going to do it right now because it's still wet. And then you'll slide a head pin or a stick pin down inside of there and then bend it at the end. Now once that's done, you can go ahead and install the roof. So the roof will go together much like a bookend would go like that. So what you need to do is you need to put glue on all of these flat edges right here. And then you're going to put it right along the inside here. Once that's done, you'll put that together just like that. And then you'll have to hold it with some tape or whatever you have. Now you're going to go ahead and put some glue right along this edge of the front and back. You guys got any ideas for me on what I should put inside or how I should do it? You should let me know, because I've never made a she shed before. I just thought it would be really fun. What do you guys keep in your she shed? Do you even have a she shed? I was thinking you could even turn this into like a little miniature log cabin as well. Now what I'm going to do here, since this is the roof, I am going to take a line of glue and I'm going to put it right in that center area. At this point, there is this piece here that is in your kit, and you're gonna put a little bit of glue right along the edge, and you're gonna put it in like a bookend directly in the middle. Now I didn't measure it, but you can, so that way it's a little center support for it. Now you're gonna take it and you're gonna put it on your roof. You're going to leave it overhang about 1/8 of an inch on the front and 1/8 of an inch on the back. Once that's done, your she shed is completely built, with the exception of installing the windows and painting and whatever you're going to do to the exterior. Now for me, I'm going to go ahead and install this door right in here. And what this is a head pen. You can use stick pens if the head is big enough on your stick pen. And lift it up a little bit. There it is, like that. Now, to make this actually work so it doesn't come out, what you have to do is you have to take this and you have to bend it. Be careful not to bend it to where you break your hinge. Okay, now, all right, once you have them bent, then you want to take your pliers and just cut them off. That way that they are out of the way, and then you can turn them to the back or whatever, and your hinge will work. This is also a flower box that will go under the window, and that's the frame. The flower box is 1/4 inch thick in between the middle of it for your flowers. You can just glue whatever you want in there. There's lots of video tutorials on my site for flowers. Now, what you're going to do to put that together is you're going to take the two that looks like this, and you're going to sandwich them together. It's really that easy. Once they're sandwiched together, you're going to take one of the flat backs and you're going to glue it. Just like that. Now the fancy front, you're going to glue onto the front, and then you'll have it like that. Now, I'm not going to glue this together right now because I want to paint it, and then I want to go ahead and make it look nice. So I'll have two flower window boxes underneath of the flowers in the front. I'll glue the frame one and this one after it's painted, and I'll remove all of the tape because it's dry. Again, you may want to put some wood glue on yours in between the crazy glue. The crazy glue will give it a quick hold. The wood glue will give it the long hold. I don't have anybody that's going to mess with this. It's literally going to sit on a shelf and probably get dust on it because I do so many kits. It's more just for fun for me, and most of the time I'm building them just for putting them on the internet. In fact, I've got so many that I haven't even actually gotten to yet. But there is the she shed. Don't forget, the bottom is larger than the sides. So the other thing I want to say is if you think you'll enjoy this kit as a laser digital file, leave a comment below, and I may end up putting it on the Etsy shop so that you can actually buy the digital version of it for your laser. Again, this will fit 11 by 19 beds. So if you have a Glowforge or a laser that has a bed, each piece will fit within that so that you can still do it. However, you cannot size it down, because if you size it down, then none of the notches will work. This has to be 0.125, which is 1/8 of an inch, in order for it to work out. Okay? Give me an idea what you think I should put in there and how you think I should design it for the she shed, because I don't have a she shed and I've never had one, so I'm not really sure what to do with it. All right? Thanks a lot. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Okay guys, so I'm going to take some coffee stirrer sticks. They're 7 inches. And I'm going to put them on the floor inside of here. And you know, you can squeeze it like this and you can do it in a row, or you can do it a little bit differently, and I'll show you what I mean by that. Let me get the glue off of this. Making a mess here. But I'm taking tacky glue and I'm pouring a glob in it just like that. I'm going to take my glue tools and I'm going to spread it around just like so. When I get it pretty much where I want it to go, I'm going to take the other glue tool that I have and I'm going to spread it out even more. I'm going to go all the way to the edge, and I'm kind of putting it on there really thick, but then I'm gradually pulling it where I need it to go. Put a little bit more pressure on it as you go, and when you do this, you have to work quickly. Now I'm going to take this one. And what that's going to do is make sure there's nothing that's higher than what I need. There will not be any glue any taller than that. Alright, after that, if you have the glue tool set, you just go ahead and wash it off. I'm just using a baby wipe right now because I want to do this in a hurry. Alright. You can soak them in some warm water and soapy water as long as you have the set that I have, and that will work just fine. Alright, now for this, I'm going to go ahead and put my coffee stirring stick right back there. And then I'm going to go to the next one. And I'm going to cut the edge right off, okay? Then I'm going to take a pencil and I'm going to mark. I'm going to push it up against this edge and I'm going to mark where that is. All right? Then I'm going to take that, I cut that off, and I'm going to fit that in that space. Just like that. Now for the other end, the proper way to do laminate or wood flooring is when you're doing it, you're going to take the piece that you finished over here with, I'm just making sure it's down, and you're going to start with the next one up here. That way your seams never ever line up. I see so many people that do their flooring and they end up taking the floor and they have like a row of seams all in the same spot. All right, so that's not what you want to do. All right, so now that one's there and I'm going to just mark it. And you can do this if you want, before you put the glue. That way you have it and you don't have to worry about it. But for me, I just did it this way. And then you want to take the piece that you just finished with and start again at the next end. Each time you do that, you're going to be creating a new row. And as you can see, the seams are all in a different spot. So then I'm going to measure the next one, and I'm going to mark it. And then there it goes. As you can see, the seams are definitely in different spaces. Everything's a little bit different, and now this one is a little bit longer, and then we have a short piece. All right, so now in order to make that short piece work that we just finished with there, we're gonna go ahead and put it right here, because that one is actually gonna go at the top. If you have anything heavy and it's not sticking, you can put it on it to hold it down. All right, now we're going to end with a short piece. And down here, I don't have that much glue. That's why they're raising up. Okay guys, so now once the entire floor is laid, you can go back with either wood filler or glue. I'm going to use glue, and I'm going to use the same glue that I used for the other stuff to put it down with. And the reason I'm doing this is because I want to fill in all those gaps. And once it's done, then you can turn around and sand it down. But I'm just using my tool that I showed you in the beginning, and I'm just going to go around the whole thing, because you know coffee stirring sticks are not going to be 100% straight. They are going to get a little wonky here and there. You're going to have to pick through occasionally, but they are better to use than skinny sticks because they're thinner and they're a little bit more uniform. Now I'm just pushing the glue in the crack. That's all I'm doing right now. You can use wood glue for this if you want, but if you're going to stain it, then you're going to need to make sure that you get all of the wood glue or PVA glue or whatever glue you're using to fill in the cracks up. That way your stain will stick to the wood. If you're using like Mod Podge or whatever, and you want to use gloss, it'll actually put a shine on your floor once you're done. And then you can do multiple layers with that. Again, I'm just filling in the glue. Also pressing down when I'm doing it, and I'm just using my wall tool, which is, you know, used for putting on wallpaper, or you can use it for flooring as well. It's basically just a glue spreader. Okay, so now once I have that done, I'm just going to again clean this off with some water, soap and water, or a baby wipe, whatever it is that I have at that time. And now to finish this off, I'm going to go ahead and take a baby wipe. I'm going to wipe off where I have it on the wall. That way it's not bumpy when it dries. And then I'm not going to remove all this glue because I'm going to end up sanding it. But I am going to take off the bulk of it with this wipe. That way it's less I have to sand. I'm just going downward in the way that I did it now that I'm getting to the edge, and then upward. That way it pushes it down in those cracks. Personally, I like the light wood color. Okay guys, so now if you're going to paint the inside, make sure you tape the floor off. I'll show you the interior process of how I've done this in another tutorial, but just to kind of show you how I started off, I'll start here. I put masking tape all around. You can use painter's tape too around the floor so that I don't get it wet along the edges with paint, because that'd just be one more thing I'd have to sand off, right? So you don't want to do that. Now you can also take paper and tape paper in the center of that while you're doing it so that you don't get any in the middle if you think you might drip paint. But you want to give this kind of wood, because it is MDF, a couple of thin layers. You don't want to glob it on. You want to do it in thin layers when you're painting it. If you're going to do wallpaper, do the same thing with the glue when you put the glue on. That way you don't have bubbles in your wallpaper. And I have tons of tutorials on how to do wallpaper as well, so I won't show you how to do that. But if you go in the descriptions with the playlists and stuff, there should be a wallpaper playlist, or you can go on my website, Dollhouse Tutorials, and you can go under wallpaper and it'll show you how to do the wallpaper if you're wanting to do wallpaper. Okay, so the object is to put it on very thin so that you don't over wet the MDF. And once you have it all on the first coat, let it dry thoroughly. And then it'll look like the image that I just showed you with the first coat. Then you can go back with a second or third coat, however many coats you need. I like to use bare paint. It works wonders. It's great. It usually goes on because it has like the paint and primer all in one, usually within 1 to 2 coats depending. But leave a question, suggestion, or comment below, and I'll see you soon.